Now, if you have 900 and almost $1 million US sitting somewhere, and you are not interested in it, what do you want this committee to do to help you get more IGF? You have almost $1 million sitting there. You are not interested. So asking us to help you keep more of your IGF, I think it's a non-starter. Try and collect that almost $1 million. And if we have anything to do, then we may be able to help you. But you are not interested in the $1 million. That almost $1 million at today's exchange rate is close to about 10 million Ghana cedis. And it's sitting somewhere.
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
All that I will ask is that this committee should help us to deal with that situation. Sometimes, that's all that I can say. So, Mr. Chair, kindly
you are not open up to her. How can we help you? You go to a doctor without telling the doctor where you have a problem. How can a doctor prescribe medicine for you? There are certain symptoms, they don't appear. Yeah, we need them. They know the problem, but they don't want to tell the committee. Yes. Honorable Apak and the Honorable Kofi, they will end it.
Chairman, it is good that the Chief Director is now beginning to say the truth. They need help to execute this matter. My only suggestion is that they should be able to provide us with the details that they have said they will provide. The letters that they said, the minister said they wrote to the occupants. Let's see the categories of the occupants so that we can truly ascertain whether these are all legitimate, as the Vice Chairman has been insisting. Let's ascertain whether they are legitimate national security operatives. And then we take it from there. But more specifically, this omnibus suggestion of we are going to renovate it, we are going to refabricate it with our timelines, do you even have the budget resources to do that by the end of this year? Let's be honest. Do you have the resources to do this work before the end of this year, which is predicated on evicting them?
Honorable Park. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Please, kindly assist us to resolve this issue.
Chairman, I will leave it here and we wait for your direction. It's a very complicated matter as far as the ministry is concerned for obvious political reasons.
Chairman, thank you very much. I think it's pretty a simple matter that we have made so complicated. And your answers even today, I am having a difficulty reconciling whether truly you need help and what form of help you need. Because in one vein, you said you have written to them, which the committee is asking for evidence of writing to them to at least vacate the place. In the next moment, you are saying you are putting processes in place to get them out because you do not want others to move in after you have evicted them. Is it that you are having a difficulty getting them out, or you don't want to get them out when you have not put some measures in place that will not let others in? What exactly do you want us to help you do? To evict them or to protect the place when you have evicted them? What exactly? What help do you want from us?
Honorable Chair, before I proceed on that, to answer that question, letter that was written to all occupants about the impending rejection this year. We have copies. And that is 6th of September, 16th
16th
September 2022. Addressed to all occupants, UNDP flats, cantonment.
Do you have names of the occupants?
No, it was addressed.
All occupants.
Yes, attached.
And you delivered the letter where?
Each flat.
Each flat. You went and put the letter there.
Yes.
Did you get a response?
No, sir.
You were trying to give us the date of the letter. Have you seen the date? You were trying to give us the date. I'm interested in the date.
That is 16 September 2022.
It's very interesting. Oh. You wrote letters, say all occupants. Then you went to the flat when they dropped the letters. Almost a year now. No responses. And you are happy that you have served them with letters. Very interesting.
So, Chief Director,
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, please, I'm still insisting that Mr. Chair kindly assist us to
Order.
Well, we want to assist you.
The assistance I want to give you is for you to go from tomorrow, go and evict the occupants. From tomorrow. You know what to do. Go to the police. Get the IGP. Let him give you the men and the women uniform. Go and evict the people. That's all.
Don't worry about some other group coming to occupy first. You get those in there out. When they are out, by all means, the police will find a way of helping you to secure the facility until you have redeveloped it or renovated it to a position that it can be reoccupied by your lawful tenants. So you can make some money out of. So don't be worried about not wanting them out because other sets will come in. That should never be part of your reasons or your worry. Get the illegal ones out. And once they are out, you begin to work towards putting the facility into a very good state for use. Thank you.
Chief Director, I've seen the letter you served on the occupants. And the flat number A1, the person claimed to be operative of national security. The flat number A3, Mr. Matthias Dugu, accountant, GIG. What did you do about that one? Now the name is there, the department he's working is there. What did you do about that one? It's a known person.
Honorable, we abide by your directive, sir.
What did you do about this, Mr. Dugu one?
We are going to evade them, sir.
Oh. So you take the next.
Apartment number A7, George Cranton, Department of Urban Roads. What did you do about that one too?
Chairman.
Apartment number B8, Dr. Zaid, PLO, Health Mission. You haven't done anything about it. Apartment number C4, Angela Amaboy, Ministry of Trade. You haven't done anything about it. Number C7, Edward Kwachi Menu, Operations Officer, Jubilee House. What did you do about it? The rest all claim to be operatives of national security. The minister mentioned earlier on that you are a police officer, but I didn't say anybody about police officer here. Or they are the operative of national security, and they are under that one.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We abide by your directive, sir.
Are there electricity supply and water supply to the flats?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
The bills for those utilities, are they served on the ministry?
No, sir.
Are the meters there not in the name of the ministry?
Not sure, sir.
So the occupants got the meters by themselves?
They're enjoying free electricity and water.
Okay, let me add this way. Your properties are the UNDP flats. Do you have meters?
We abide by your directive, sir.
All right. We need to come to the end of this matter. It keeps appearing in the report every year. It doesn't speak good about the ministry. So, as I said earlier on, I think that the committee will be happy for you to go and seek the assistance of the Ghana Police Service to evict them. They are occupying your property illegally. Evict them, bring your reports to this committee. In fact, the auditors will go and verify that actually you have evicted them before we finalize our reports. And we want you to do that within 1 month. 1 month should be sufficient. Yes, you have already given them notice, so, and they didn't respond. And the time you gave them notice, you gave them 12 weeks, which is 3 months. That has elapsed long time. So, going to evict them, you are not against any law. We have the rent control people here who, they should be even be assisting you to do this job. All right, so let's move to the next one. Paragraph 578, Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, the infraction has to do with the chief rent officer collecting non-tax revenue to a tune of 191,000, and instead of paying it into the consolidated fund, it was spent on operational activities. So the recommendation is that the money should be paid into the consolidated fund. So I would like to know if that has been done.
Honorable Chair, please, it has been resolved.
How was it resolved? Was it paid to the consolidated fund?
Yes, please.
Can the auditors confirm this?
Honorable Chair, we are sure of the opening of the designated holding account, but for the payment of the money, we don't have any evidence to that effect. Thank you.
Officer, and the auditors are also given a different account. Can you explain yourself, please?
Honorable, in fact, this report pop up 2020, the year 2020. And the management report that was issued to the department was different from the report here. So, in fact, there was nothing like what you, Mr. Chair, is reading to us. That is the only problem. That is it. That is it.
Chief Rent Officer.
Mr. Chair.
Have you collected non-tax revenue, totally 191,538?
Yes, please.
Did you pay that money to the consolidated fund, or you spent it?
Mr. Chair, we spent it.
So that is what the auditors are reporting on. Now, they are asking you to ensure that that money is paid into the consolidated fund. And then also, they are also recommending that until approval is given to retain part or all your IGF, non-tax revenue should not be spent directly, or should be paid into the consolidated fund. Now, do you now pay your non-tax revenue to the consolidated fund? You have a retention of 33%. Do you now pay the money into the consolidated
yes,
fund?
Yes, please.
Okay. Auditors, can you confirm that now they pay their IGF to the consolidated fund?
Honorable Chair, now they are paying into the consolidated fund.
Now let's come to the main question. Have you paid back the 191,000 which you spent directly into the consolidated fund?
Honorable, no, please.
I think that this is a similar thing. Earlier, we met with the headquarters. The report didn't talk about if the expenditure is not genuine. So we will direct that you also do the same like the headquarters to ratify it. Okay. The next one is paragraph 583. Honorable Roxon.
Chairman, thank you very much. Architects Registration Council. The case against you is that you spent some money in excess of 410,000 at part of your IGF without approval. The auditors are saying that you should seek approval from the minister. Other than that, you should desist from utilizing the funds. July 2023, has the approval been sought?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairman. The challenge has been resolved.
Yes and no, then you explain. Yes, it's been approved. Okay, then you can explain.
Yeah, thank you. We have received an approval to retain 66.6% of our IGF, and we have been paying money into the holding account. We have received approval from the Ministry of Finance through the sector ministry, so the issue has been resolved. Thank you.
Have you brought this to the attention of the auditors?
Yes, please, and then we have letters as an evidence also with us.
You've given copies to the auditors? The approval letters?
Yes.
Okay, auditors, can you verify and confirm this?
Honorable Chair, in 2023, an approval was given by the Ministry of Finance to retain 66%, which we have those information with us. But the issue before 2023 is still outstanding. Thank you.
Chairman, that's why I have a question because of the nature of the recommendation. You simply recommended that they should seek approval. And from the way you, from the tenor of the recommendation, you're asking them to seek ratification. They've spent the money. So they should go back to try and ratify that. That's my understanding. Because we are saying if they don't do that, going forward, they should not utilize the funds. So in my opinion, once they've done that, there's nothing outstanding. Because in the other cases regarding the same ministry, you were specific in your recommendations. You didn't give a similar recommendation to, for instance, the rent control people. So if you can clarify your position.
I think that is about ratification, so they should also do the same, which is similar to the earlier one. Now, the OEB area water and sanitation scheme, is it under the ministry?
No, sir.
It's
under Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources.
Sanitation and Water Resources?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is Public Works Department, Takrady, paragraph 594, Honorable Isaac Opoku.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, PWD Takrady. The infraction under paragraph 594 is rent in arrears. 11 tenants of the department defaulted in rent payments, and the total amount is 51,420. The recommendation is that you should either recover the amount or you eject them. So where do we stand now? Any updates on the recovery or ejection?
Honorable, this PWD is one of the decentralized departments. So we are responsible for only the headquarters. So anything in the regions has to do with the RCCs. It doesn't fall on us, sir.
Unable to answer this question?
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Oh, okay. Yes. When was this arrangement put in place? Since 2011.
So the Public Works Department is under which ministry?
We are responsible for only the headquarters.
Yeah, so which agency is now
The
responsible
RCCs.
for RCCs? So that should be local government.
Local government, sir.
Okay.
So you are responsible for the PWD headquarters. But then at the regional and district level, they are answerable to local government.
Yes, Chair, Mr. Chair.
So how do the headquarters, in a way, report on them, or how do they have any relationship whatsoever in their workings? Do they to the headquarters which you are responsible for?
Yeah, if there are policies that are developed by the headquarters, then it can be sent to the regions for adherence. But they are responsible to the RCCs and the district assemblies. It's because of the decentralization that has made it so.
All right, so based on this information, it means that we are done with the Ministry of Works and Housing. All the rent issues, no, rent control, we've done that already. That one is the repetition. So that'll be all for the ministry.
Mr. Chairman, I want, on behalf of my minister, to thank you for the opportunity to appear before you and to assure you that we take on board the advices that you gave us and work on it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's in court. It's in court.
Honorable Minister, we've listened to you. Thank you very much. But you know, my constituency is Ketunov. And I use the Aplau Road to my constituency. Anytime I'm passing there and I see the Seglemi projects, beautiful houses, beautiful buildings, are the fittings not deteriorating? The fittings in those in the building, are they not deteriorating?
Honorable Chair, yes, we've noticed some deterioration of some of the fittings, but
so we'll wait for all those things should deteriorate. They will come back and look for money and fix them before they are occupied.
Honorable Chair, I think government, there's a plan to deal with that Sagrame issue, and maybe in a different
to occupy it, or how? There was a time that we learned that the government want to sell them. Yeah. So what is preventing the occupation of those facilities? It's our own money. It's your tax money. It's my tax money.
We understand that it's of interest to Ghanaians, but I can assure you that government has a plan to deal with it.
Government is keeping too long in that plan. Government is keeping too long in that plan. The place should be occupied. It should be occupied. I drive that road, so when I see the projects, I ask myself, what are we doing to ourselves?
Why don't they send the illegal squatters at the UNDP over there?
You see the ministry? There are squatters, they don't care. The projects are there, they don't care. That's the nature of your ministry. You are discharged.
Hambin Jalula,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
No, I've been standing with the Bible. I took this. Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Chief Director, the Director of Finance, and all other directors, you are welcome.
Thank you, Chairman.
You are invited because you are cited in the 2021 MDA report of the Auditor General. So we will go straight to paragraph 600 of the report, and that will be taken by Honorable Sophia.
Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, before then, kindly introduce yourselves to the committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Good morning, colleagues. I'm Stephen Jalula, MP for Pro Western, Deputy Roads Minister.
Honorable Chairman, I'm Abbas Mohammed Awulu, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Honorable Chair, I'm Frank Osei Secretary, Deputy Director at the Department of Urban Roads.
Honorable Chair, I'm Eric Oforiaman, for Director of Finance, Ghana Highway Authority.
Honorable Chair, my name is Emmanuel Namara, Director of Finance, Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Honorable Chair, I'm Dr. Frank Gamadi, Director of Audit, Ghana Highway Authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable Sophia, you can go now.
Thank you, Chairman. Paragraph 600, unpresented payment vouchers, which amounted to 138,010. And then on paragraph 601, there's a table here that stated that the Chief Director Administration made a couple of payments and you didn't support it with the necessary documents and payment vouchers. Have you supported them now?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that has been implemented.
Auditors, please, can you confirm to us if they have supported the documents?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, the presented payment vouchers has been presented now, and we have verified them. Thank you.
That's all for them, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The next infraction is on paragraph 610, and that is Honorable Admiral Kukisi.
Thank you, Chairman. This has to do with unsupported payments. We're within the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Amount is 61,000 Ghana cedis, 731. And this is in relation to 83 payment vouchers. Do we have the appropriate documents for all 83 at the moment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That issue too has been resolved because we have presented the relevant documents to the auditors. But may I say that we are of the opinion that this particular issue should have gone under MMDAs and not under MDAs, which the ministry is in charge of. Because though this one is Accra Metropolitan Assembly Urban Roads, it's a decentralized unit, and they report to the local assembly and not to the Minister of Roads and Highways. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Audit Service, do we have the relevant documents?
Honorable Chair, all the necessary documents have been provided.
Okay, so Chairman, I think that'll be all. We'll note that. I think the clerk would note that. Thank you very much.
So how about the feeder roads? They're also under the local government, or they're under the ministry?
No, please. Feeder roads are under the Ministry of Roads and Highways.
But the urban roads are under
the assembly level?
Yes, please. The assembly level, we have urban roads that are responsible to the local authorities. Yes, but the feeder roads all over the country are under
the Ministry of Roads and
Highways.
So all these urban roads under Greater Accra, Accra Metro Office, they are all under the Assembly?
Yes, please. AMA.
AMA.
Yes, please.
But you've answered the question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so auditors, take note that in your future reports, we should know the proper placement of these agencies so that it will help us. So your next one is paragraph 613. Which is unpresented payment vouchers. 9,820. Has it been presented? It's also under
AMA, Mr. Chairman. Yes, please. That, Mr. Chairman, that one too has been resolved, but it's still under AMA.
Okay. Auditors, has the paragraph 613 been resolved?
Honorable Chair, resolved.
Then paragraph 615, Honorable Apak.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. The issue at hand has to do with unremitted withholding tax. And the amount involved is 2,682 Ghana cedis. Have you now remitted the said amount?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, can you confirm that this has been done?
Honorable Chair, it's still outstanding.
You say it has been done. Auditors say it's still outstanding. Does that mean you have not provided them with the evidence?
A moment, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have here receipts of for payment to GRA of an amount of 2,681 cedis, 20 pesos. Thank you.
The amount is 2,682. Is that the same amount that you have?
6,681, 2,681 cedis, 20 pesos.
Well, it's short by 1 cedi. This is public money. You should know. Even 50 pesos makes a difference. So, Mr. Chairman, the auditors have not seen the report, but the minister indicates that there is a receipt confirming that 2,681 has been paid. I leave it to your direction, Chairman. It is short by 1 cedi.
That's okay.
Although the auditors are here to confirm. The Chairman, I humbly request that the minister pays the 1 cedi outstanding.
In fact, I'm sure he can even give you 100 right now. The next one, paragraph 618, Honorable Dakwa.
Thank you, Chairman. So the issue has to do with avoidable interest payments on contracts. So your contract agreement between Accra Metropolitan Roads Department and the contractors permitted contractors to apply for interest, that's a penalty on payments that were not effected within the specified dates indicated in the contract agreement. Okay, so it seems there are 4 companies here, and the total amount comes to 1.1 million. Is it cedis? Yes, Ghana cedis. Okay, so can you tell us what circumstances led to the payment of accumulated interest? In fact, have you paid that interest, and what circumstances? Because I think the contract said if it delayed, then you pay. So something led to that delay. Can you just update us on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, it's true that when we are contracting for projects, there are clauses in the contract that allows the ministry to pay interest on delayed payments. And as we all know, government is not always able to pay on time. Therefore, incurring this cost. As we speak now, the amount in question has been paid. As
the contracts have been
executed.
The IPCs have been paid, but
the bills have been paid, except the interest on delayed payment that has not been done yet. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, so the 1.1 has not been paid, right? Okay, so did you
No, Mr. Chairman.
That's fine. So the auditor recommended that you carry out and investigate what circumstances led to the payment. You haven't paid, however, still certain circumstances led to the delay, right? So that investigation that was recommended by the Auditor General, has that been carried out?
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, I don't think that we need to investigate why. Because we owe the contractors, we have presented our indebtedness to the Minister of Finance, and it's up to them to pay as and when they get the funding. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, okay, so from what you're saying, okay, you went into a contract with some companies. You signed a contract saying that if you don't deliver or you don't, there's any form of delay, okay, they are entitled to A and B and C, right? And then there was a delay. And so they requested that this is my entitlement because there's a delay, okay? And you have not paid, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think when contracts are entered into by the government agency, especially in this case roads, there's a 91 days within which an IPC is an interim payment certificate, when it's raised, has to be paid, beyond which the contractor is entitled to interest on delayed payment. So anytime the payment is made, the contractor then calculates when was this payment due. Maybe the payment was due within 91 days. However, the payment had been made in 180 days, or the payment had been made in 360 days. So the difference between the 360 days and the 91 days, which was when the payment should have been made, the contractor then calculates the interest due. Because if I was to be paid within 91 days and you paid me in 360 days, I'm entitled to some interest. So they will normally wait till they are paid. Then they calculate from the date that they were paid, how many days was that behind schedule, and subsequently those interests, the interest is calculated subsequently. And that is what the Honorable Minister was saying. The payments have been made for the works. However, the interest payment has still not been done. But the contractor contractually is entitled to those interests. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So I think we're on the same page. They're entitled to that 1.1 million, and that is why the Auditor General raised it, okay, and said that whoever is found culpable should pay. So the issue here is the people are entitled money which should be paid, and we just want to know, has it been paid?
Honorable Chair, I think the Honorable...
You said no, it has not been paid. The recommendation says the people who are found culpable should be made to pay. You have not paid. Chairman, as it stands,
Well, here it's difficult to know whether anybody at the ministry is culpable. Who delayed the payments? Is it the Ministry of Finance? So, is it the Ministry of the Finance? Ministry of Finance delayed the payments. So if anybody is found culpable, then it should be the Minister of Finance. Because he didn't release the money, he didn't make the payments. So, I'm not sure if this recommendation is something that can be enforced. Auditors, do you think that this recommendation can be enforced?
Arrest the chief director. Honorable Chair, we all know the government is already embedding with financial issues.
Are you sure?
So we are saying that our actions and inactions should be embedding the state again with things that we could do within a period of time so that we can avoid some of these.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That is what
I agree with you. That is why the ministry is saying that when the certificate is raised, it's supposed to be paid within 91 days. If it is paid within 91 days, no interest component comes in. But if it is paid even 1 day after the 91 days, the contractor will calculate interest for that 1 day. Now, if the delay is over 1 month, the interest will be growing. The longer the delay, the higher the interest component. In this case, the interest accrue up to 1.1 million. The calculation was based on when the actual principal was paid or the certificates were paid. The question is the delay an inaction of the Ministry of Roads and Highway officers, or is an inaction of the Ministry of Finance? It's a thorny issue. Minister of Finance will come and tell you that taxpayers didn't pay money, so I'm unable to pay at the time it was due. So it's an issue that we can debate and debate and debate. If you said we should give you the governance of this country we have given you, do you go back and be blaming the taxpayer? So it's a debatable issue. It's a debatable issue. If we are giving you and you're unable to do it, I think that the best the taxpayer would do is to give the governance to another person to see if they can do the right thing. Is that not the case? Honorable members, so when will this money be paid? Honorable Minister.
Minister, it will be difficult for us to tell when the money will be paid.
Are the contractors whose interest amount has also been delayed again, are they computing further interest on this?
Mr. Chairman, normally we don't get those cases.
No, come again.
Yes, so normally we don't have contractors applying for interest on interest. Yes, please.
Oh, that they are being generous.
Mr. Chairman, may I also add that now, when we are contracting, we, instead of the 91 days before we interest is calculated on the delay payment, we are now using 82 days. 182 days.
182 days.
Yes.
That's double
6 months, yes. Thank you.
But even that one, you are defaulting. Even that one, you are defaulting. So as we speak now, we don't know when this amount, 1.1 million, will be paid. Clerk, take note of this particular one. The Ministry of Road and Highways is unable to tell when the interest component will be paid to the contractors. Okay, let's go to paragraph 622. It's an approval of certificates of payment above contract sum, 54,000. The auditors noted that AMA awarded a contract to Shares ENH Engineering Limited under the supervision of Accra Metro Roads Department. The agreed contract sum is 1.4 million. Now, the contractor raised 2 certificates for payment, totaling 1.4 million, which was higher than 1.489 million. The contract was 1.434 million. So the 2 certificates totaling 1.489 million was higher than the contract sum by 54,356 cedis. They provided details of that. Now, further check by the auditors showed that there were no records showing that the entity tender committee approved additional works for the revision of the contract sum. Management could not also provide any documents to explain the overpaid amount of 54,356 to the contractor. The auditors have recommended that the head of Metro Roads Department should recover the overpaid amount from Shares ENH Engineering Limited. We want to find out if the recovery has been made.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wish to follow my earlier answer that these particular issues should have been directed to the AMA and not our ministry. Thank you.
So you don't have, even though all that we have answered earlier were supposed to go to AMA, but you answered them. This one, I'm sure you are not able to answer
this particular one we don't want to answer.
So we will have to call AMA to come and respond to this one. Let's take note, this must go to Ministry of Local Government when we meet them, I think tomorrow. Or, yeah, tomorrow. We are meeting them tomorrow. Now let's go to paragraph 603, Honorable Bauer, Department of Federal Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, I think this one there is under your purview, so you can answer it. And it relates to paragraph 604 that a former accountant, Mr. Adam Alasan, received monies totaling 10,000 Ghana cedis for contract fund and sale of tender documents, but deposited only 4,000, leaving a balance of 6,000. And the recommendation is that the regional manager should recover the amount of 6,000 from the former accountant. I want to find out whether this money has been recovered and paid into the appropriate fund.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what I can report is that this issue was reported to the Ghana Police Service, Legon Police Station, and I think that the police are investigating the matter. Also, I think related to that one, Mr. Chairman, is the issue of the 19,000 which were all lumped together and reported to police and IOCO. And we have a copy of the publication of the IOCO listing him as a wanted person in Ghana. Yeah. Do I have it? Mr. Chairman, the gentleman is no longer a staff of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Mr. Chairman, I have in my hands the publication by the IOCO. Yes, it can be found on the IOCO website. I can pass this.
Is that from the website of IOCO?
Yes, please.
No publication in any of the dailies? Nobody, it's not everybody who go to IOCO's website.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll verify. We'll verify.
Pass it on. Let everybody see the. In fact, when it gets to me, I want the camera to zoom on it. I'll do it like this so that my face doesn't show. So that is Adam Al-Hassan. If he's in the country, anybody who knows him should inform him that he's being wanted, or person should report to the nearest police station so that IOCO can go and pick him. All right, so this one covered the next infraction also, which is the amount is 19,000 under paragraph 606. So we'll move on to paragraph 625. Honorable Aka.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Your department owed 147 contractors an amount of 200.3 million Ghana cedis. And I would like to know if this amount has been settled. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, indeed it's true that we owe contractors to the tune of 200 million 343,692 cedis and the 2 pesos. Yes, in the eastern region. Mr. Chairman, as we do always, we report on our indebtedness to the Minister of Finance and we wait for funding to pay. Okay, so Mr. Chairman, that is it. Thank you.
So have you been able to settle part, at least part of the amount, or not at all?
Chairman, we will check and update the committee on that one. Because the issue was that we owed so much to a number of contractors. Yes, the Minister of Finance has just done some payment recently, and we are yet to update our list of indebtedness. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, you heard him right, so it's not...
Honorable Deputy Minister, you are appearing before Public Accounts Committee. You know of this particular infraction. You are not telling the committee that you will now go back and update your records. It means that you're not prepared. Should we suspend the sitting for you to go and update and come back?
No, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, what I was just trying to say is that the payment of indebtedness is an ongoing process. It's not
that is why, if you have a system to update your indebtedness, at any point in time you are called, you just retrieve it from your system. So that you know that for this region, this is the current debts outstanding. It might even end up by saying that these 200 that is reported here, the current debt will be more than the 200. Because it's an ongoing thing. As you are paying the old debt, new ones are being added because we are awarding new contracts. Do you understand the point? So you need to have a system that updates your debt at any point in time it is paid.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you're right. Let me rephrase my earlier statement to say that as at this moment, that is the indebtedness that we owe the contractors. But I also want to make a statement that the government is paying contractors as we speak now. It could happen that even a few moments ago, some of those contractors were paid, or they will be paid as soon as maybe after this sitting. Thank you.
Okay, clerk, take note. The ministry is unable to tell us how much has been paid out of these debts. You didn't tell us whether you've been able to pay 1 city out of it. Let's go to paragraph 628, Honorable Alès.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The story is not different from the foregoing one. The Department of Federal Roads awarded 28 contracts amounting to 245,487,859.75. And these contracts were not completed within the specified contract period. The contracts have delayed for periods ranging between 7 months to 114 months, with its constructual implications or financial implications to government. The Chief Director, you've been asked to investigate the cause of the delay, and whoever is found culpable should be liable for the cost increment. What have you done about that, Chief Director?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. An update, as the contracts run, the update is that some of the projects have been completed. And then I can list them, or we have copies of those projects that have been completed. There was 7 of them have been completed. A significant number of them have been terminated. There because the contractors could not meet the conditions of contract in terms of delivery and so on. So that list too on the terminated contracts have also been indicated. And then we also have about 4 or 5 of them that are still ongoing. Means that the contractors are working, and then some extension of times have been given. So yes, those projects are ongoing. A certain number of them, I think about 6 of them, have been completed. 12 of them have been terminated, and currently...
Mr. Chief Director,
yes.
Like you are saying, do you have a document to that effect indicating those that have been completed, those that have been terminated, and those that are ongoing, and the amounts paid so far? Can you furnish the committee with those documents?
Honorable Chair, I can indicate projects, the status of each project as at now, in terms of those that have been completed, in terms of those that have been terminated, and in terms of those that are ongoing. But the latter part of the question, as to the status of payment or not payment, that we can finish. But in the main question was the completion of the project. And I can indicate that, one, bridge construction of 20-meter and 40-meter span steel bridges over River Osiem Akura Brim in the eastern region. The contractor was Horinsa. The contract sum was 8.1 million. Project has been completed. We have the rehabilitation of Akosu, Subrisu, Ntronan Road. Contract sum was 2.1 million. The contract has been completed.
Chief Director,
yes,
kindly provide that document to the clerk to the committee.
All right. Thank you,
yes.
sir.
In addition to that, you were advised to prioritize the delayed projects before awarding new ones. Have you been doing that?
Yes, in terms of prioritization, yes. Because if there is a contract in a municipality or in a district, you try as much as possible to make sure that those ones that are ongoing are completed. If they are not, you terminate and then re-award. And basically that's why some of the projects have been terminated. And then the processes for re-award then kicks in.
Auditors, are the stories true?
Honorable Chair, we don't have any information or documents to that effect. So maybe we are yet to be given those informations. Thank you.
Honorable Apak.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, my interest is with regards to the terminated contracts. Do you have specific reasons why those contracts were terminated? And is the reason across board?
Honorable Chair, reasons for termination varies from contract to contract, though sometimes they might be general. One is non-performance by the contractor. Some contractors are given work, they do the clearing, and from clearing, they leave this, they abandon site. So if you abandon site, the contract conditions indicates that the resident engineer should give you some warning letters. After a certain period, the contract is recommended for termination. That could be one. Contracts can also be terminated per the conditions of contract by the contractor himself. If the contractor feels that there are certain excluding conditions that does not make him or her perform, the contractor can write to the employer based on the condition of contract and say that I'm terminating the contract at my pleasure. So there are various contractual conditions that will emanate into termination, but paramount mostly will be non-performance.
Are you sure? Because I know in my constituency, for example, most of the contracts that have been terminated and are being re-awarded or which have been terminated is as a result of lack of payment of certificates. Is it not the case that this is also a very prominent reason why most contracts have been terminated, because the contractors haven't done some work and failing to get paid for the work done are no longer able to continue?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have the specific case that the Honorable is talking about. But the bottom line is that if a contractor works and he's not paid under the conditions of contract, the contractor can serve notice to suspend and go through a process and suspend work. That is allowed. So because once the employer does not pay you within a certain period, the contractor is entitled to interest on delayed payment. So the contractor cannot ask for two things at the same time. You terminate at your own will and ask for interest on delayed payment. So the contract allows, if for some reason the employer is not observing the conditions of contract and you are still interested in the contract, you suspend. But you go through a process of suspending. Once you suspend, all the other conditions of contract applies to that specific contract, and so on and so forth. But if you leave the contract at abeyance, simply because the employer has not paid you, the employer can enforce the contractual conditions, and one of it is to terminate at the pleasure of the employer. So basically, it's a contract, and at each point of the way, each contracting party should then read the contract properly and see what compensatory events that they have with their contract so that they can follow upon that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. I will leave it here, but I will furnish you with specifics as far as my constituency is concerned.
Mr. Chief Director, the response from the audit service seems to suggest that they are not privy to the information you have provided to the committee.
Mr. Chair, this information was part of our attachment that we did serve. Maybe specifically to them, maybe we can still forward that. But these are part of attachment that we did serve to the Auditor General as part of our audit responses and so on and so forth. So maybe specifically they don't have it. We can always serve them with copies and indicate the status. And we have external auditors auditing us now. We can always visit those sites to confirm the status that we had indicated. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, concluded.
Let's move to paragraph 631. Honorable Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Deputy Minister, you're welcome. I'm sure this one you will be able to do justice to it because you are responsible for those regions, including mine. Thank you. This to do with delayed projects in the Upper West region, specifically your office in Wa. In 2019 and 2020, you awarded 51 contracts, which totaled, in terms of money, 5,890,591 Ghana cedi. But all these contracts were found to be behind completion schedule, and warning letters have been written to the contractors about delays. You are to take steps to make sure that the contract terms are enforced. I want to find out what you have done in relation to these 51 contracts, which of them have been completed, and what actions have been taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, 51 contracts were awarded in 2019-2020. Mr. Chairman, I can report that out of the 51, 23 have been completed and 28 have been abandoned. And these are routine maintenance contracts that we awarded in the Upper West region. Thank you.
28 abandoned, 23 completed. Any reasons for the abandonment of these 28, which is more than 50%? That means more than 50% of the contracts have been abandoned.
Mr. Chairman, as earlier said or indicated by my Chief Director, there are reasons why a contractor will leave site. And one thing we noticed is that the classification of companies as road contractors was an issue. So in 2022, my boss set up a committee to come out with a new recommendations on how to reclassify all the road contractors in the country, so that we can weed out mushroom companies and one-man contractors, those who don't really have the capacity to be in the road sector. So since 2022, that is what we've been doing, and we hope that by the new ways of reclassifying the companies, we will not have companies coming in to win projects and then abandon them later on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, like Mr. Park said earlier, I equally have similar situation, and you are aware that you and I have had conversation with situations like that, even in our part of the region and my constituency specifically, where the abandonment was as a result of non-payment. And specifically, Mr. Chairman, it's a major route that connects one municipality to another district. And per the policy that you have, that at least there should be a good route that connects one municipality to another. Such abandonment, I believe that the ministry should be particularly interested in, and to make sure that it's done. You know, Upper West is also a major food basket when it comes to maize supply and then the rest in the Sisala areas and what have you. So if you have 28 of such projects abandoned, so what are you doing? Let me summarize it. What are you doing to get either new contractors or same back on these abandoned 28 contracts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said earlier on, Mr. Chairman, these were routine maintenance projects. That means that yearly we do them. So if a contractor is unable to perform, we take them out, and the following year is re-awarded to a different person.
So it means like other contractors have gone on the same road and worked on them now as we speak. So it's not like since 2019, 2020, we haven't done anything on such road. Do I take your answer that they've abandoned, and since it's 2021 audit, in 2022, something was done on those routes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's positive, because even those that were worked on, I'm sure that they have deteriorated again, and we will do another, we send other contractors on the same road again. So it's routine. Every year, we have to work on the roads to make them more trouble, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll take note of this, your answer. Later on, I will find out why it's not happening in my constituency. Later on, I'll find out why it's
Mr.
not
Chairman,
happening.
the honorable member is talking about the trunk road that links bigger communities or municipalities, and that is not routine. We'll chat later.
Auditors, can you confirm the information provided?
Honorable, we are here to be given that information.
So maybe you get your regional and district people to do some follow-up. Mr. Chairman, that should be all for them on this.
Paragraph 634, Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. The issue has to do with indebtedness of the department to contractors. 28 contractors were given some jobs in 2020, and payments were made, but it was left with 444,000 plus. I would like to find out if this has been cleared. Department of Feeder Roads were
Mr. Chairman, we have implemented that issue partly because some payments have been made, but we still have an outstanding amount to pay up. Thank you.
how much payment have you made from the 444,298 Ghana cedis? How much?
But 444 is still outstanding.
Mr. Chairman, we have paid about 2.9 and we have an outstanding amount of 444,000.
Minister, that's not the issue. The recommendation was that you awarded a contract totaling 3.3 million and you made payment of 2.9, leaving a balance of 444,000 plus. So the recommendation is that you should ensure you pay the balance. So I'm asking, from this 444,000, how much are you been able to pay?
Yes. Honorable Chair, I think there was maybe a slight, the details are that the contracts were awarded to the tune of 2.9 billion. The works certified to date was a 2.4 billion. Outstanding amounts in the various contracts total the 400 and something thousand. It didn't translate to works done. So technically, you cannot say that it's an indebtedness to us. So a contract is awarded, a certain amount of work is done. There's still money in the contract. That money in the contract, until works are done, does not translate.
Thank you, Chief Director.
And basically, that
can
is
the auditors
here.
explain to us why this recommendation? The auditors, can you explain why you made this recommendation? Listening to what the Chief Director is saying.
It's only one question.
Honorable Chair, if you look at the information that we put out there, I think we'll go with what the Chief Director has explained. Because the contract that was awarded was 3.3 million, and an amount of 2.9 was paid out of it, leaving a balance of 444. So we are here to confirm whether that aspect of the contract was executed, which for which they have to pay the 444, 298.
Mr. Auditor, it means that this is a wrong recommendation. Yes, Chairman, I yield to you. Thank you.
But Chief Director, so by inference, these are abandoned works by the contractors. Is that the case? Or has it been completed?
These are works that have been certified.
Yes.
So if the contractor executes works, those works are certified. But it doesn't mean that if the contract sum has been exhausted. So technically it means that there's still a bit of money left in the contract that some additional works can be made. But if the works have been completed and then you didn't complete the expenditure that was expected to be made, it stands as works not yet done.
Well, probably maybe I was playing into the technical bit, but let me come to my understanding. What is the status of those roads now, as we speak?
Status I will have to check, but the point is that these are works that have been certified, and the works that have been certified is information that we have. But the question was that there was additional money that had not yet been paid. We're just drawing the attention that it might not necessarily be additional money. It's just that it's money still in the contracts that have not yet been spent, as it were. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Chief Director, I think that your explanation is worth it. So, according to the auditors, the total contract sum is 3.3 million. Auditors are saying that 2.9 million has been paid, which means that, per your explanation, 2.9 million was certified and paid. According to the auditors, they assume that the contract sum of 3.3 million was certified. That is, per what they have written here, was certified and 2.9 million was paid, and for that matter, 444,000 still remain outstanding. But your explanation means that the contract sum is 3.3 million, all right, but the 2.9 million which was certified has been paid. The 444,000 might mean that work was not done, no certificate has been issued for that. Is that the case? So what is the status now? 2020, yes, we are now in 2023. Yes, sir. Has that portion which has not been certified now?
Mr. Chair, I will share this. For instance, periodic maintenance. There's a periodic maintenance of Ho Poly Japo Road, which was to be undertaken, I think it's re-graveling, by Mrs. Ifasco.
No, we are dealing with different region now, not...
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
We are not in Ho. We'll come to Ho, don't worry.
Okay, the whole one is here.
No, Upper West is...
Okay.
Upper West. That one, that's what we gave
out. Okay, the Upper West we've given...
It's here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay. Okay, but the contract sums are not here. Okay. Yes, again, the contract sums are not here, but just we'll furnish the Secretariat with the hard copies. What it means that works have been executed to the amount that maybe a contract was given at 1 million. I don't have the details, Mr. Chair. But works executed for the completion of that project was 900,000. So there's 100,000 that is still technically available in the contract. And is this total that has been seen as, so we have not yet paid for that. But basically it means that it has not been certified. And because it has not been certified, it cannot be paid for.
Yes, I agree with you. But I want to know, because this is 2020, as of December 2020, that portion of 444 has not been certified. As we speak now, in 2023, has that portion been worked on and certified?
Mr. Chairman, I'll have to get that information, sir.
Don't you have the regional director for Feeder Road from WA? No. Don't we have him here?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
We should have brought them.
Okay, sir.
All the regions affected, I should have brought them, the regional director. It means that the regional director in Ho is also not here.
No, sir. Gregory is not here, sir.
You even know his name.
Because the whole one is a serious matter. So provide the information on the Upper West one. If that portion has been certified or not. Okay, next one, paragraph 637. Honorable Yusuf.
Chairman, thank you. So from Upper West Department of Feeder Roads to Volta Region, Department of Feeder Roads, specifically Ho. And the infraction here has to do with delayed projects. 22 contracts were awarded amounting to 487,578,158.82 Ghana cedis. And the work scheduled was supposed to be completed between 2013 and 2019. But as we speak, about 22 of these contracts at the time that the audits did their work hadn't been completed. What is the status of these projects?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, yes, 22 contracts were awarded between, awarded and they were supposed to have been completed by 2013 and 2019. But as we speak now, 7 have been completed, and these projects total 120 million. 521,841 cedis. And as the Honorable rightly said, 22 are outstanding. And the Chairman, we have the updated data on those projects for your perusal.
Let me find out how many have been completed, how many ongoing, and how many have you terminated?
Mr. Chairman, as I said, the list is here. 7 have been completed, and we also indicated the status of the others. Some have been, 3 have been terminated, and others have stalled. And I think 12 have stalled.
When you say 12 have stalled, what are we talking about? What exactly are you referring to?
The Chairman, it simply means that the contractor is not on site.
And so what action are you taking?
The Chairman, normally warnings are sent and eventually the contract is
Deputy Minister, have you done that? Have you sent the warning letters to them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, you are on the process of terminating them. Is that not the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Those that have not been terminated.
Let me find out from you. Those that you have terminated, have you re-awarded them?
Mr. Chairman, no. We will need a budget to be able to re-award those projects. Thank you.
Auditors, can you confirm this?
Honorable Chair, per the status that we have, none of them is completed. Apart from construction of 70 M-span steel bridge, number VR/B02 on the Garosota Bomingo Feeder Road, which is 98 completed, none. That is the status that we have as at now.
Minister, how do you reconcile this?
2021. There is an update.
Yes, Mr. Honorable Chairman, as I indicated earlier on, this is a current update on those projects, and we have a copy for the committee.
So then you have to update the auditors, give them the current status of it so that they can't. So, Chairman, that is the status of it. Some have been terminated, some are ongoing, and some are stalled, and they are in the process of terminating them. And they also said that those that have been terminated, they're still looking for money to re-award them. Let me find out whether you have considered this under this current budget, or you're going to put them in the next budget, because you shouldn't just leave them out like that.
Mr. Chairman, we are unable to give that specific information here. We will consult our regional managers of the Federal Roads Department and get back to the committee on that. Thank you.
Chairman, if you are okay, I'm okay.
Honorable Deputy Minister, Your demeanor alone shows something. Your demeanor. Your demeanor shows something. It's telling a message. Included in those 22 projects, you have the list. Do you have Ahi, Georgia, Agbozuma, Town Road? Which is,
can you mention the name again?
Ahi is spelled E-H-I. Do you have it there? Which also includes Germany.
Peki is not number 7, honorable member. Stall. Where is it? Okay.
You have it there.
Ehi Doje and Ehi Town Roads.
Yes.
Agbozomi.
Yes.
Ehi and Todome. To Palim.
Tokpalime.
To Palim. Oh, Palime.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. It was awarded to GS International Development Limited.
Yeah.
And it is one of the projects that have stalled, Mr. Chairman.
What is the reason for the contract being stalled? What is the reason?
Mr. Chair, the contractor has left site.
It is not true.
Oh.
Chief Director, it is not true.
Oh, okay. But the project has stalled.
The contractor, when the contract was awarded in 2016, contractor has worked with speed. In 2017, he was asked to stop work. He stopped work. He prepared his first certificates up to date. Certificate has not been honored. 7 years. The certificate has not been honored. Last year, we persuaded him and he came back to site. Strangely, Department Environmental EPA from Ho came to seize his equipment that he didn't obtain permission or permits to go and cut gravel from a different area to site. I was shocked. Then a contractor who is working on project for us, he issued a certificate, he was not paid. He came back to site and he was arrested for not obtaining permit, and for that matter, his equipment was seized by the EPA. So the contractor got angry, and when the equipment were released to him, he packed his things and left site. I reported this to the minister. Up to date, the project has stalled because of this. So it cannot be that the contractor left site. I'm giving this information openly. In fact, the people of Ketunov, Ehi, Georgia, they are listening to what I'm saying now. Please, let's do something about it.
Mr. Chair, we'll do something about it. But the environmental protection laws of the country, before you win gravel from any place, you are bound to have permits. And I think that this particular contractor is a very experienced contractor. And he does know that you need those permits. And so, yes, doing the road is critical, but obtaining the permit is paramount before he can do anything. Because by the time he finishes, because EPA will want to know how he intends to reinstate the borough pits when he leaves the site and so on. If he doesn't obtain a permit, the potential that after winning the gravel, he will leave those pits is extremely high. So we'll work on it. We'll get him and the EPA, but make sure that he obtains the necessary permits so that he can get back to site. Mr. Chair.
Chairman, I also want to find out in terms of payments, the contract sum here is 67 million, and the certified sum is 21. 37% were complete. I want to find out whether he was paid.
I think that if I borrow from Honorable Chair, my understanding is that he has not yet been paid. But though he hasn't been paid...
No, don't borrow from me. Because my information is that he has not been paid. But you have the facts.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I will check on that fact. But I do know that GS International, anytime his certificates are paid, he regularly puts in interest on delayed payments, if he is entitled to any. So, but I'll check on whether he has been paid or not. But I was just making the point that GS International is a very experienced contractor, and he normally will go for permits before he goes to any borrow pit to take out gravel material. So I'm a bit surprised that in this particular instance, they didn't do that. We'll check. It's our responsibility to facilitate, discuss with EPA, and make sure he gets the necessary permits so he can get back to site as quickly as possible.
Director, you are saying that this didn't come to your notice. He has abandoned the site, work is not going on, and you are not aware of the reasons why he abandoned the site?
Regional directors will know. Like the chairman did say, maybe next time we have to bring the regional directors here. They will know the details because they are the operational people on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There is another road in Ketuno. In fact, it passes through my village. The name of the contract is Agove Junction to Devego and Tajewu Town Roads. I'm not sure if it's part of this. The Agove Junction to Devego. It was also awarded in 2016. The contractor is Sar and Sarad. Sar and Sarad. And they've done the prime sale in September 2016. And they're supposed to come back by maybe February, March 2017. Since then, no work was going on. Now the road has deteriorated badly again.
We all have roads. Chairman, to add to what you say, I have this Sar and Sarad Limited, and it's supposed to be Tazewu.
That is it. Town roads.
Yes. So.
Yeah, that's the project.
So it's part of it.
That's the project.
It's part of it. 80% were complete.
Yes, because they've done the prime sale.
Yeah.
But the road has gone bad because 7 years it's gone bad. What are you going to do about that road too?
Mr. Chair, we'll take the necessary step. Once you indicated primer sale per our conditions is what it is, primer. It's just to retire dust and cover up the base material. And invariably within 2 months or maximum 3 months, another layer of bitumen, which is called the fair seal, should be applied. Once that is not done, the road will deteriorate. So the regional director will have to reassess the volume of work or the quantum of work that will have to be done. They will have to scarify, maybe rebase the road again and build up from where the deterioration started.
So we'll leave that one to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honorable Roxon.
Kofi, you've asked Jessica and Rose already. Chairman, thank you. Chairman, the problem with the road project Chairman spoke about is that it's such a complex contract. My portion is the Todome to Parliament to Germany, 21.8 kilometers. That one, the contractor hasn't been back since 2017. Now, the problem for me is that I have spent all these years since coming into office doing rehabilitation every year. But it's gotten to a stage where I can no longer grade the road because small boulders have emerged on the road. I've scraped all the gravel surface. All the laterite is gone. So in large sections, we can no longer grade it. So I've been praying for your intervention, but it's not happening. Meanwhile, the information is under contract. The contract is in abeyance. So what do we do? That's my problem. What do we do? Do we decouple it from the Tajifu one, or we keep it the way it is? Like, sorry, the Jujehi one. Do we decouple it, or we maintain it and re-award it, and get the contractor to come and deal with? Because I honestly can no longer rehabilitate. I can no longer grade it. And so it's a problem for me. The other issue I have in Southern is that you have awarded Peve to Peve Tonu where the Ghana water pumping station is 3.3 kilometers. Anum Peki Jacket to Anum 5 kilometers. It is. Then Chibu to Chate, 5 kilometers. Then the rest, the same project. I'm trying to explain the project. The same project, 3.3 kilometers, is at the Clipper, that is the regional minister's hometown. One contract, 15.5 kilometers to B-Rock. It was awarded sometime in 2017 or 18. He began work very well, but non-payment has also forced him out. But I don't see him featuring in the outstanding projects or delayed projects that have been captured by the auditors. Bureau contractors. So if you can take that two up for me, I'll be very grateful. Especially because the road to where the Ghana water pumps water is so terrible, and you know how important water matters are. I thank you, Chairman.
So, Honorable Minister, I kindly take all these things on board. I'll take the last one from Honorable Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much. Well, this is about routes, not in WIM constituency. This is to do with Fodome to Hohwe route. Fodome to Hohwe route. And I'm just reading the update, and it says the contractor is on site. The last time a contractor ever worked on that section of the road was somewhere 2020. Somewhere 2020, the early part of it, because that's the road I use regularly to my constituency. It's when you get to Golokwati, you have to divert and take right, go through Fodome to Howe, because at least it's better than going straight. The last time ever. I want to find out, because what you are doing, if you say 44% complete, that contractor is on site, there's no contractor on site as far as the Fodome to Howe section is concerned. There's no contractor on site. The same way we saw a report, even in the budget, this was not Auditor General's report though, that Hohwe to Dodo Pepesu is 100% complete. As we speak now, between Central Kofi and Hohwe is in a terrible state. So number 16, item 16, I just saw it and I thought that I should draw your attention.
Mr. Chair, actually what we have here, Hohoi Fodome, is part of the project that have been stalled. So I don't know, maybe we might be reading from separate this thing. No, number 13, under the project that have been stalled, Hohoi Fodome, Joe Azar Company Limited, project has stalled. And I do remember that this is one of the projects that the Honorable Minister himself did call the contractor to try to get back, because the contractor indicated that he has materials on site. He had chippings, he had bitumen that he can go back to site. And then he was waiting for some instructions. But here it stands stalled. So I don't know whether it's the same road that you are referring to, Honorable Chair.
Same. So if it's stalled, then and the minister has called the contractor, then you must find out why. The same with the Central Kofi to Hohwe also. It's stalled. Why? The contractor has a lot of material, but then maybe payments is not being delivered in time.
Some instructions have been given to the Department of Federal Roads to ensure that the contractor goes back. It wasn't the issue of payment. There was some issue of some technical question of stabilizing the base instead of just using gravel. The contractor suggests that given the nature of the gravel material there, he wasn't getting G80. So it meant that he had to use chippings and stabilize the base. Maybe 60-40 ratio so that he can put in the primer seal. And basically that was a technical issue that had been sorted out. That is on the
Director, let me. That road, the primer sealing you are talking about was done, and in 2020 they tried putting some first bitumen. So we had gone past what you are talking about, unless you are saying what he did was not right. So he's been asked to go back and do another primer seal again, because they've crossed that, and then first bitumen was done in 2020, but it's become so bad, terrible.
That's, Mr. Chair, that's the point that we're making. The issue is that the road is in a terrible condition. If I do recollect, the question was that the base that was used for the primer seal should have been stabilized. That was it. Because if you weren't getting the G80, G80 is a gravel of a certain strength. If you don't meet it and you compact, you don't get close to 100. Once you lose that percentage and you put in the primer seal, the road will deteriorate. And I think that was the main point of departure between the contractor and the supervisors. So a technical meeting was called, and then we agreed that the instruction should be given to a contractor to stabilize the base, at least add some chippings to it. That will raise the strength of that material and straight out. So we should go back, scarify, rebase, and go on. So the question that you said is primer seal. But primer seal in what condition? Terrible. So we need to give the people the road they deserve. So you have to go back, take out everything, stabilize the base, add chippings to the gravel, and compact. Then the engineers come back to check the field density, to check the strength, and be sure that you are meeting the 100% or close to 100. Then the primer seal can be put on, as well as the first and second seal. And that was the instruction. We had a technical meeting. That was the instruction that has been given. And the Department of Federal Roads is expected to carry out those instructions, Mr. Chairman.
All right, let's move on to paragraph 639. Honorable Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Minister, here, Department of Urban Roads, Takoradi. I think there are about 7 projects, an amount of 119,786,315.41. There's a table
just there's a table there. Some of the projects were supposed to last for 22 months, some other 12, other 3 months. And the payment made so far about 53.3 million. Please, what is the state of these roads as we are speaking now?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think out of the 7 roads that were mentioned by the auditors, we have one that has been completed. The second one to be determined or terminated. 1, 2, if you don't mind, I'll mention the name. Upgrading of Axim Town roads is 85% complete. Yes, from 31. Then we have rehabilitation of selected roads in Takrady, Lot 1. It was 24, but it's now 40% complete. Upgrading of selected roads in Isikado, Ketan, Sub-Metropolitan Area, Lot 2. It was 60%, but it has been completed. Then we also have rehabilitation of Takwa Senior High School roads. It was 18, now 80%. Upgrading of MAPIs and selected collector and arterial roads in Ifia, Kwisimintin, and we are doing the binder now, course now. So, Mr. Chairman, that is the current state of those projects.
Tell the committee that all the projects are in progress. Yes, we are working on it. All the
yes, Mr. Chairman, except one, which is the upgrading of Asankragua town roads.
That let me just excuse me to say, it looks like I think this one is better, but the previous ones, there were a lot of them you terminated, some were abandoned and all that. Please, if those projects, were they part of the 10,000 roads that you compiled and gave to the minister, the president to announce? And when you terminated them, have you selected them so far? Can you tell the committee how many of the roads you can comfortably tell Ghanaians you've done so far? Because it looks like out of the 10,000 now, there are some that have been abandoned, stalled.
10,000 in
we want to know how many roads. Please. If the president is reporting today, how many roads should he report?
Honorable, 10,000 in the audit report. Is that what you are making reference to? Please answer questions from the audit report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I can say is that the 10,000 roads that Mr. President talked about were roads that were done. We are talking about roads that we are doing now. So I'm sure when the President gets the opportunity to speak to us again, he would update us on the current...
Minister, this road started from 2017 to 2020. So if you are talking about roads that were done, definitely some of these roads should be part of the roads that were done. I'm not talking of roads that you have started 2021. I'm talking of roads reported up to 2020. And these roads are part of the 10,000 roads. So I'm asking you, now that you have selected and abandoned some, and some were, so you have abandoned some, can we select those roads so that Ghanaians will know so far up to 2020 how many roads were completed or have been able to complete? But if you are talking of this, you're my brother, Minister,
Honorable
member. Brother. But you know you're on the oath. And you are from the north. You know you don't tell.
Honorable member.
So don't say that.
Honorable member.
Come on, brother.
Honorable member. Let's move on, please. The next infraction is on paragraph. Oh, you have the last one. The last one is on paragraph 641, and Deputy Ranking will take that one.
Well, thank you very much, and I think, Deputy Minister, first let me commend you for the way you answer questions. Indeed, you are learning from your boss, especially when it comes to assuring and reassuring. Yes, you have learned the trade very fast. Yes, and that is good. But my question has to do with abandoned projects. So today in the Western region, the dualization of the Kansavurudu bypass phase 3, the reconstruction of the Fijai bypass dual carriage and Accra road, the upgrading of access to Takwa New Hospital Road, and the emergency of asphaltic overlay of some selected arterial and collector roads in Takrady Lot 2 has not been completed or have not been completed. What is the current status of these projects, sir?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think that 2 out of the 4 projects have been completed, and the outstanding 2 are also ongoing. Mr. Chairman, dualization of Kasawudu bypass, Kasawuredu bypass phase 3, which is 8 kilometers, is completed now. It was 96%, but now completed. Now we also have reconstruction of Fijai bypass and dual carriageway and Accra road. It's been done by Sabia Engineering. It is also, that one is to be terminated. Okay. Exactly. So the next one is upgrading of access to Takwa New Hospital Road phase 2 by the same Sabia Engineering Limited. That one was 91%, but it's been completed. Then we also have emergency asphaltic overlay of selected arterial and collector roads in Takrady Lot 2. It was 58%, but Mr. Chairman is now 75% complete. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I like the bit about terminating road contracts. And I think it's something that ought to be done quickly. For instance, in my constituency, I have a major problem. I mean, Asakaka Town Roads. I'm the Hey, Kofi, your deputy ranking is on the floor, and you are interjecting me.
Is it a public interest question?
Oh, Chairman, you came around.
No, it's a public interest question.
No, it's a.
If it's public interest question, you can ask.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, Asakaka Town Roads, the contractor indicates that he can no longer do the work. We've been looking forward to termination of his contract and subsequent re-awarding of the contract to another contractor, and it's delayed. And the level of tension in the town it is a bit worrying, which may even affect not just the political heads, but even the traditional heads of the town. So please, let's take steps to terminate contractors, because since 2020, if the contractor has not come to site, it's an indication that he no longer wants to do the work anymore. So please, these are my concerns. So Asakaka Town Roads, Alaji, if you have something for me, I'll be very grateful. My people are watching. My people are watching.
All right. Honorable Kofi Adams, do you have any? You say you want to ask public interest question. It's 2, but I'll permit only 1. Only 1, please.
Okay, then maybe I'll go for one that is of great interest. Since the first one is in the eyes of the public, the ministry itself will see it. So let me deal with my region. We have this very important route that I mentioned earlier, which connects from Jasikan through Bodada, Tetema, Baika, and through there you link to the new district, which is the Guan district capital. The contract was awarded in 2015. The contractor was on it working. It was supposed to be completed by 2018. But in 2017, he was asked to stop for the general investigations, which report came out that nothing untoward was done. The minister was in Parliament to answer questions that I filed, and he indicated that they have repackaged that project to be re-awarded in 2022. We are in 2023. No contractor is back on that road. No routine maintenance, and it's in a very terrible state. Mr. Minister, can you assure my people that this contract will be re-awarded soon?
All right, Minister, response.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that, as he indicated earlier, our boss has already spoken on that road.
Just an assurance, yes or not. So move forward.
I want to assure my colleague, Mr. Chairman, that we've taken note of it and we will work on it and to get it re-awarded to a new contractor.
Okay. Honorable Dakwa.
Thank you, my dear Chairman. So I think ideally this should go to the Accra Metro office. Okay, I'm sure you have your representative here. Oh, there's no representative. Okay. So there's this road. Okay, it's in the middle of Accra, and so there's always heavy traffic. I think over the years the road has become very deplorable. Okay, I'm aware they have been given some clearance for pothole patching in the constituency in Okankwe South. I would like to know, can you vary it? Because that road is terrible. It's like 1 kilometer. It's not.
Can you mention the road?
Tabo Street. That's the name of the road, Tabo Street. The measurements have been done. They've costed it. Everything has gone to the ministry. But it's a matter of priority for me. That road is terrible. It links to hospitals, the Darkman post office. It links to a lot of places that people use a lot. Because in the center of Accra, I think we need to pay some attention to it. Because the commuters are always complaining, and I use it as well. It's very bad. And so please, I know assurances are there, but even if we can vary the pothole patching to deal with that road, because there's clearance for the pothole patching, I think it will end up saving a lot of hassle. People's tires, even me, when I use that road, sometimes I have problems. People's shocks, their tires, they have too many issues. Please, let's focus on Tabo Street in Okankwe South. Thank you.
Well noted, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Honorable Minister. You take a note of that.
Yes,
right?
Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Bauer.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, mine has to deal with a road that was awarded in 2017, linking Kumasi to Anyinasu. I know the Chief Director is aware of this road I'm talking about. It was awarded to Pretty-Ups. And as at now, the road is completely blocked. The contractor has left site, nothing is ongoing, and commuting from Secretary, which is Mampong, to Anyinasu, now by that road is almost impossible. You have to pass through, come through Egra, go through Sechedumasi before you go to Anyinasu. I mean, which is causing a lot of, you know the place is a food basket, and that's the major road that they use. So I would like to find out when is the contractor coming back to site? Because contractor has completely abandoned site.
So you are asking that the contractor should come back to site?
Contractor should come back to site.
Okay, take note, Minister, take note. Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, I want to find out from the Deputy Minister. I drew his attention to a road between Banankonta and Tinga at a very specific place called Bumbute. It's a trunk road. There's serious erosion on that major road, and if care is not taken, by the close of this rainy season, the road will be cut off between Banankonta and Tinga. And if that happens, what it means is that people from Upper West can no longer access the southern sector of this country. What have you done so far? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I'm very much aware of that particular stretch of road because I think there was an incident that I had to personally go there and then check. And what happened is that normally when this happens, we look for a contractor that is nearby and we vary their contract so that they go and do the remedial works for us. So we will ensure that as soon as possible, whichever contractor is in the Savannah region or nearby regions, and they can move in quickly to resolve it for us, we do that. And Mr. Chairman, let me acknowledge the concerns that my honorable friend Roxanne made earlier regarding South Dai roads. My chief director has taken copious notes on all the concerns of my colleagues here, and we will work on them and get back to them. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Honorable Ales Rotoja. After that, Honorable Aziz, and that will end it.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, there is a road under construction in my constituency. That is the contract for the route from Yokutikpo, Mafiavedo, Poviaji to Vute. Frankly speaking, the way the contractor is working on the road, I don't think is the best. And I have evidence here to show you right now the kind of work he is doing on that stretch of road. And we'd like to find out if the ministry, I don't want you to act on whatever I tell you here. I would like to find out if the ministry will send some officials there to pay an unannounced visit to site. I'll come and show you the kind of work that is being done there with government money.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Aziz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Minister, you know, the Yendi Tamale Road is under construction. And the last time I visited a home, I had a discussion with my chief, that's the regent of Miang. And there were complaints with regards to the drainage, the gutters the contractor is doing when he gets to communities or towns. So I will only appeal that the technical men should take a look at it and advise the contractor accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that we'll look at the concerns that Honorable Aziz has raised, and then we'll see what the issue, because there's a contractor there. It's being done under the World Bank and the Transport Sector Improvement Project. So we'll see what the concerns are and address them immediately.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I think that
the issue raised by Honorable
very well
Deputy Ranking.
Yes.
Can you respond?
Yes,
to it?
please, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. We understand the concerns of the honorable member, and we know that as politicians, as traditional rulers, a lot of these projects are lobbied by us and them. And I know that is the reason why he's so passionate about this. He said it on countless number of times, and my boss is keen to help and pursue people to ensure that these particular roads that he mentioned will be repackaged again and awarded to well-resourced contractors so that they will be executed. Yeah, thank you.
Are you sure you're not making a political statement?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm a politician, but in this case, I'm very honest with the
So can you give a time frame where, when all these issues that have been raised here will be attended to?
Mr. Chairman, you know that is a mission impossible for me to give you.
You are telling me right now here.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to tell you, Mr. Chairman, to know that a lot of issues have been raised here, and it will be impossible for me to recollect all of them and to give timelines. But what I would say is that we have taken notes of this, and in due course, Mr. Chairman, I would personally meet all the honorable members and update them on what we are going to do for them.
Well, we will. This meeting here, hearing here, is being recorded. Ghanaians are listening to you; they are watching you. We are also going to keep record of all that you have said. If you don't honor all that you have said, we'll play them back to you. Okay?
Very well, Mr. Chairman.
But before I discharge you finally, just a minute. Honorable Samson wants to say something.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief Director, one of my communities, Manyoro. There are two steel bridges, one to Para and one back to Sorogo.
A calculator crossed one and fell inside, broke the bridge. You can't cross. Now, just last 2 weeks, your people from Balga carried rocks and went and poured on the other one to assert there's danger. So now it means the other community is cut off. I beg you, try and follow it for me. Is it part of Ghana? Oh, yes, part of Ghana. I'm talking of a community of 8 branches. A community, Mayoro, where you have over 10,000 people living around the area. They can't go anywhere. Because your people are broke, they've not created any place for them to pass. So I beg you, this one I'm just appealing to you. This one not through the minister, but you, the chief director. Link with your people and help at least construct one bridge, just one of the bridges, so that they can cross and go out of their community. Otherwise, it will be terrible. Thank you very much. So I think that the chief director has taken notes, and some action will be taken on that. On that note, you are finally discharged. We thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, the sitting of the committee is hereby adjourned to tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the forenoon.